Trump says hiking tariffs on South Korean goods to 25%.
Cambodia to join Trump's Board of Peace, Prime Minister says. U.S. South Korea agreed to deepen cooperation on nuclear-powered subs, Seoul says. U.S. judge to consider pause to Minnesota crackdown as Trump dispatches border czar. China's Xi says India, China are friends, partners. U.S. President Donald Trump said Monday he plans to raise tariffs on South Korean goods, including automobiles, lumber, and pharmaceuticals, accusing Seoul of failing to uphold a previous trade agreement with Washington. Trump said the tariff rate would increase from 15% to 25%. In a post on his Truth Social platform, he claimed South Korea's legislature had not enacted what he described as a historic trade deal, adding that the decision was within South Korea's rights but justified higher tariffs. South Korea's government said it had not received advance notice of the planned tariff hike. A senior official said authorities were reviewing whether the agreement had been submitted to Parliament. Trade Minister Kim Jung-kwon, who is currently in Canada, is expected to travel to Washington for talks with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. The announcement marks a shift from an agreement reached months ago following talks between Trump and South Korean President Lee Jae-myung. That deal included South Korean investment commitments and reduced U.S. tariffs, lowering levies on South Korean cars from 25% to 15%.
News anchoring. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen Manet said Monday that Cambodia will join U.S. President Donald Trump's Board of Peace. In a Facebook post dated January 26, Hun Sen Manet said the decision reflects Cambodia's goodwill and its strong commitment to promoting global peace.
U.S. Undersecretary of Defense for Policy Elbridge Colby and South Korean Defense Minister An Ji-baek agreed Monday to deepen cooperation on South Korea's plan to develop a nuclear-powered submarine, according to Seoul's defense ministry. Colby is in South Korea on his first overseas visit since taking office, as Washington signals it expects Seoul to play a greater role in deterring North Korea. The ministry said both sides see cooperation on a nuclear-powered submarine as strengthening South Korea's leadership in defending the Korean peninsula and enhancing the bilateral security alliance. The Pentagon's new National Defense Strategy, released Friday, states that the United States expects to take a more limited role in deterring North Korea, with South Korea assuming primary responsibility. During the talks, An also urged faster progress on the transfer of wartime operational control to South Korea and called for closer coordination on follow-up measures within the alliance. Colby described South Korea as a model ally in a post on X, citing its commitment to increasing defense spending in line with U.S. regional strategy. South Korea hosts about 28,500 U.S. troops and has pledged to raise defense spending to 3.5% of GDP, a move welcomed by U.S. officials as strengthening deterrence against North Korea. A U.S. federal judge on Monday weighed a request to temporarily halt President Donald Trump's immigration enforcement operation in Minnesota after the controversial crackdown triggered protests and 2 fatal shootings of U.S. citizens by federal immigration agents. Minnesota, joined by the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, asked U.S. District Judge Catherine Menendez to pause the deployment of some 3,000 immigration agents, calling the operation a completely disproportionate violation of state authority. The Trump administration responded in court filings, calling the request an absurdity that would undermine federal law. The hearing follows widespread public backlash over the weekend over the fatal shooting of 37-year-old nurse Alex Preddy during a confrontation between immigration agents and protesters in Minneapolis. Homeland Security officials characterized the incident as an attack, saying agents acted in self-defense. Independent video footage showed Preddy with a phone, not a weapon, before he was wrestled to the ground and shot. In response to the unrest, President Trump said he would send White House Border Security Czar Tom Homan to Minnesota to oversee the situation, calling him tough but fair and noting he would report directly to the president. Chinese President Xi Jinping said China and India are good neighbors, friends, and partners, as he sent congratulations to Indian President Draupadi Murmu on India's Republic Day, according to state news agency Xinhua. Xi said China-India relations continued to improve over the past year and described the relationship as important for promoting global peace and prosperity. He reiterated China's long-standing view that cooperation between the two countries is the right path forward, referring to the relationship as the dragon and the elephant dancing together. China and India share a disputed 3,800-kilometer border that has been a source of tension for decades.
Relations deteriorated sharply after a deadly clash in 2020 that killed soldiers on both sides, leading to a heavy military buildup along the Himalayan frontier. Xi said he hopes both countries will expand exchanges, strengthen cooperation, and address mutual concerns to ensure stable and healthy ties. Relations have shown signs of recovery, with direct flights resuming in 2025 and increased trade and investment, partly driven by shifting global dynamics under U.S. President Donald Trump's foreign policy.